Okay, recording started. So welcome to AsyncAPI Open Meeting. It's Tuesday, 15th of September 2020, 4 p.m. UTC. On the call, it's me, Łukasz, AsyncAPI self-called maintainer, Fran, the founder, Jonas, the old school, old-time contributor. And we have also Collin from the Nuts project that joins us very often to support us, especially Jonas with the work on the template. So welcome, guys. And before I jump to the topics I added to the agenda, is there anything that is not on the agenda, something super important that you prefer to talk about before we jump into the agenda items? Oh, was I too quick with picking?
Not on my end here.
Okay, cool. 3, 2, 1, okay. So let's jump. The first one is the template for generator templates. So I just wanted to share something I'm sharing quite regularly on the Slack channel and also in the last status update. Pardon. What was I about? Yeah, template for the template. So I'm working on a kind of template, like GitHub template, that someone could use to quickly create a repo with a generator template. So it's a kind of boilerplate with a example template that covers all the functionality that we have in the generator. So it's kind of presenting those features. Plus, it has some extra stuff like proper ESLint configuration and the release pipeline. So it's much easier to kick off with automated releases of the template. It's mimicking the release pipeline that we have for AsyncAPI. And it's what I want to share is maybe the status. So it's the work is 80%, I would say, 80% done. So I managed to create a template that covers, of course, the hooks, the filters, partials, all the filters that, not all the filters, like it shows the usage of filters that comes from Nunjucks, filters that come from our official package of filters, and also a custom filter. And it also covers the docs cover the how to set up the pipeline, how to get the quality assurance, and how to write tests for the template. So looking on the roadmap, I'm just actually missing a example README for the template. What are the most necessary information that you need to put in such a template? And some basic instructions are missing. This actually, it's done. This is almost done. And yes, so the what's important to notice that, as you can see, there's a lot of content to describe all the features and point them out where they can be found in this boilerplate. It's a lot of content. So as a follow-up after that's done, I'm going to work on a interactive tutorial where you create the same template but step by step. So you don't get everything with one click, but you actually go through step-by-step tutorial where you add a specific part of the template and you end up with the final template. The outcome of this template is, as you can see, I'm a super pro CSS master. But I covered here something that was interesting for me. So a generation of the diagram of how the dependencies between the schemas look like in a visual manner. So something that we can consider long term, maybe for HTML template behind a feature flag, that you don't get only the docs, but also maybe the diagram. So that's an interesting part. But I think what's interesting to see, let me change the screen share. Okay, can you see my Visual Studio Code?
You make it a little bit bigger because it's
That's
really
what she said. Uno momento. How about now?
just a bit more, maybe. I don't know. It's for the video, not really for now.
But is it bigger? Did it get any bigger, or?
I don't think so.
Oh, really? Because for me, it got much bigger. Do I separately somehow have to make it larger for Zoom?
I don't think so. I think you have to just click or just hit Command plus.
Yeah, that's what I did, and it got larger. Where's the Zoom? Damn it.
Okay, now it's much better.
Oh, wait.
Oh, back again.
It's this and equals. What the hell? Okay, now?
Yeah, much better. A little bit more.
Okay. Okay. So the the interesting part I was playing with the last days was how to test the result of the generation. So the outcome, the output of the generation is the index.html file where the diagram, the mermaid, I'm using the mermaid library, the mermaid diagram is generated. So I wanted to have a kind of way of making sure that with my example AsyncAPI file, I wanted to make sure that the result that I'm gonna receive after generation, let's say I bump the mermaid dependency or just modify something in the style CSS. I just wanted to make sure that the index.html file will not change, like during the review of the pull request, for example. So here I used the snapshot testing from Jest. So it's basically what I'm doing is I'm using generator, generating the using this template. I'm generating the files. Then I read the file and then match it to the snapshot. So when I run tests, what did I break recently with it? It worked pretty well before.
Demo effect.
What the hell? Come on. Wait, maybe I was playing with the snapshots. Let me do the typical stuff that people do with snapshots. So let me regenerate them. although it's strange that, yeah. Okay, I broke the snapshots with some tests. So you can see that there was also a snapshot created for those tests. So the snapshot is basically for the template. Have a look. So it's this HTML file. And every run of the test compares the snapshot with the file that got generated during the test was run, basically. And as you can see, with the second run, the test was successful. But if I would change, do some change to the index HTML, with the next test run, it's gonna fail because it's gonna detect a change in the snapshot, and it's completely fine. Sometimes that it's gonna fail because you really changed something in the index HTML and the change is expected. So in this case, you have to, of course, have a look on the snapshot if only the part that you changed has changed, and then you have to remove and regenerate the snapshot. So so basically, it means that it's not always the best solution, the snapshot, because like you can even find many articles about it that people write that at some point of time people get a habit that because of large changes in the snapshot, they simply regenerate snapshot without investigating. So I find those snapshots as useful whenever there's a change in the pull request, like a new flag is added, for example, and the default result should not change after introduction of the parameter, but only, let's say, new test should appear with a new snapshot where we test the result after using the parameter in the test. I have no, you know what I mean. So that's basically where those snapshots will be very useful. So to validate that adding a new parameter or adding some new file to the output of the generation, that the old files are not broken. So that's it if it comes to the template.
Also for refactoring as well, like you told me last time.
Yeah, and refactoring, of course, yeah.
When you want to refactor some code, but you don't want the output to change, so that's also useful.
Yeah. And Jonas, I guess that if we would start using the snapshot approach, if we would like to start using snapshot approach like for all the templates, it would be probably also nice to combine it somehow with this idea of using TCK files for testing. So we would run the tests against all the possible example files, get some results, and then always test against those results.
Yeah, sounds good. If we can.
Yeah. The only thing I'm afraid of, and for example, not sure if you remember, some time ago we agreed that if we are working on a template and we want to have a some example spec that we are testing against, we should not commit it to the template, but rather use this generic dummy one. And for example, I actually commit the dummy one here, mainly because of those snapshots, because you can imagine that if the dummy file would change somewhere remote, and I would still test snapshots against it, then of course there could be a risk situation that, okay, on PR everything is fine, but then between PR and release something's changed in the remote file, and then the snapshots fail. So so that's the risk if we really will use think about using TCK for such testing, because then again those test cases can change. I mean, now they are not super stable, they're changing all the time, so that's not the time where we can use it now. But in the future, it's still, I think it would be super risky if we tell all the template developers to use the same testing approach, and then with one file change, we break all the snapshot tests.
But isn't the TCP, what's it called? TCK. TCK. Isn't it versioned as well? Don't you just want to bind it to one version in the specific template? And if the TCK updates,
So it would have to be. I don't think it is, because it's still like work in progress.
Yeah.
But you're right. If you would version it,
even the dummy YAML file, the remote dummy file, you can point to a specific commit in history.
I can.
So you can do it like this, and you can remove it from there, right? So it will never change.
Damn it. Yeah. Okay, so that's not a problem. So I'll change it here.
Just saying, so you don't have it. You don't have to maintain a duplicate on your repo, right?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, makes sense. I didn't think about it.
We could also, with the CI, we could implement something like when the TCK updates, it will trigger pipelines across all templates to update the specific package and snapshot.
Yeah, problem is when someone develops like his template in a kind of hidden way.
Yeah,
but then, like you said, the best is to simply version this TCK. Okay.
TCK needs to be versioned over time, for sure.
Yeah. And for those who are listening, TCK is Test Compatibility Suite project. Okay, any more questions to the template? Okay.
I think it's a great job, man. I'm good.
But now I will basically starting from tomorrow, I'm gonna stop working on the template, postpone it a bit. Not because I'm tired, it's just because there's another topic I'd like to focus on, and it's called Hacktoberfest. So I'm not sure how many of you know what Hacktoberfest is, so let me first Google it for you. So Hacktoberfest, it's a every year during October, like Oktoberfest, Hacktoberfest, you get it. So it was usually sponsored by actually the company that I have the t-shirt on me today. It's a DigitalOcean, and they didn't pay me for having it today. They sponsored it, started it 3 years ago. It's a 1 month long event for people around the world to create. They have to sign up to Hacktoberfest, and they have 1 month for creating 5 pull requests to different projects. And as a result, they get a swag pack. And I love swag packs. That's why I always took part in the Hacktoberfest. And it's pretty widely known event. The simplest way to take part in it as a project that would expect contributions is to find simple issues, label them with label Hacktoberfest, and that's it. But you can imagine it's third or fourth event like this, so there are probably hundreds of thousands of issues. labeled with Hacktoberfest, so it's not enough. And I'd like to involve AsyncAPI in the Hacktoberfest in, let's say, much more professional way. And the goal is, of course, the promote AsyncAPI initiative through this event. But most important is to promote, clearly show that AsyncAPI initiative is not just a spec, like OpenAPI, for example, initiative, where they only focus on the spec. To show that we are also working on tooling, actually a lot of tooling. And the other one is to kind of have a side effect. First of all, make it easy for existing community to jump into contributions to AsyncAPI, but also the materials that the resources that I want to work on for the event. Some of them can be reused in the future to make it much easier for people to jump into the project and contribute. So there's a lot of things I basically need to do for next 2 weeks to prepare for Hacktoberfest. So unless you want me, I don't want to just take your time and go into details of what's written in this document. I think the most important is, at least for me and Fran, the last point. So some time ago, Fran shared with me his desire to publicly,
my desire
to have a live coding sessions that are not prepared. It's rather like everyday job, but online for people available to join to see how Fran is working on some particular features of AsyncAPI spec. Did I explain it well?
Yeah, actually, maybe not just developing specific feature or change in the spec or something, but also whenever you have to work on trying to understand what's happening, why should we add something to the spec or why we shouldn't do it. This previous work that needs to be done before you make a proposal, before you even start working on it, or like before you even officially start working on it, there is a work before this happens, right? And it's usually happening behind the scenes, like nobody sees it. And I think it's useful to have this kind of information in public. So when someone asks, for instance, why don't you do X and instead of Y? I thought about it, like it's here, it's registered, and you can see why we decided not to go this way, but instead this other way. Of course, this can also be written afterwards as a document, but it's also cool to have to engage people live during these live sessions, because people can also jump in and help us, like, hey, I see you're not thinking about it. Have you thought about it, about this other option? So it will be like a pair programming with lots of people if they wish to just jump in, or pair programming or pair thinking if you want, right? Not just programming. So yeah.
That's a great idea. One thing we've done on the NATS team that has kind of, it's been well received is an AMA, Ask Me Anything. And then we have queued up examples that we can show. And this is diving down into the code, showing prompts, and showing users how to do things. That fills in the gaps while we're waiting for other questions. And that's worked well as well. Just thought I'd share.
I agree that this also worked. Ask Me Anything, and also like involving people into the decision-making discussions or previous decision-making discussions. I think it helps a lot.
Yeah. So then all those discussions about this idea, we had them, I think we started talking about it right before or during the holidays. So obviously it was not the best time to start it. And I was thinking like, okay, I'd like to have a kind of support office hours for people that would be interested in taking part in the Hacktoberfest with AsyncAPI. And why not connecting it like with this idea that Fran had? So we can just jump online on some schedule, or me or Fran or both of us. If anyone else would like to join, like Jonas, maybe you would like to. And then this office hours would be okay if nobody joins from for Hacktoberfest and needs some help with some pull request. Then we'll just I will probably work on some code and show my crappy thinking process when I code, and Fran will show his probably better thinking process than I have.
if you were able to see my thinking process, you will be surprised. Like I'm staring at the screen like, oh yeah, I now remember what I was doing. Yeah. For minutes staring at the screen. Oh, let's open Twitter. Oh, what was I doing? Oh yeah, true. then the cat gets into the room. Oh, what do you want food? Okay, let me go put food. What was I doing? Oh, let's open Twitter again. That's the whole thing. That's the whole day for me.
It's still called thinking process.
Yeah, it's thinking, feeding animals, tweeting process. So yeah, just to make it clear, for Hacktoberfest, I think it helps to have office hours and scheduled office hours, so people know when are we going to jump online. But the other idea that we were talking about before, I think it will be super cool to do it like non-scheduled. Like I'm just working on this right now. I'm gonna jump in 20 or 13 minutes. Or 30 minutes. I'm gonna jump live and share with you, like totally improvised, and see, like you're inspired now, and I'm feeling inspired now, and I'm gonna share it with you, right? I'm gonna share this with you in case you want to jump in and join. That's it, and nothing really scheduled or anything.
That's totally fine. And of course, we're using Twitch because it's trendy now.
We will use Restream, and it will be published into YouTube and Twitch probably at the same time.
And Twitter.
And Twitter live as well. Yeah, everything. Why not?
Oh, awesome. 21st century, my God. And one last good thing I think about this Hacktoberfest will be that we always wanted, I mean, whenever we talk with Fran, we always wish to engage more diverse community into the initiative. And we, during the AsyncAPI conference, during the preparations for the conference, we, with Emmeline, she helped us to connect with the Woman Who Code. That also helped us to advertise AsyncAPI conference in woman community. So I guess it's going to be also, it's going to be good to share as well with them, give them all these materials that we prepared, how easy it is to kick off with any kind of contribution. So maybe we'll somehow give back to them and attract them more into joining the initiative. So yeah, let's see. And then after 1 month, if not a single issue is solved, we're gonna do a retrospective, like what went wrong. But yeah, let's see. I think it's worth spending 2 weeks working on it.
Yeah, and another thing that I would like to remark here is that we need help making the AsyncAPI community more diverse. This is we're struggling with this. Like, I mean, look at the meeting today. Like, we're all white male guys, right? The white male people. So it's like we should, which is fine. I'm not saying this is bad, but we should be trying to make it more diverse, and not just women, but you know, like diverse in terms of minorities and you know, diversity basically. So like, I don't know, like we're trying to reach some communities like Women Who Code, but I think we're not probably doing enough, or we're not doing it well, or both, or we're not able to attract women or more diverse groups, let's say, or underrepresented groups to participate in the AsyncAPI community. And this is something I would love to improve. But so if anyone has any ideas on how to do it, on how to make it possible, what should we be doing? That would be super helpful. So yeah.
Yeah, like my suspicion was always that it's simply hard to jump into such a big project like AsyncAPI, and it's just scary. So I hope that when I will record all those videos, how to like kick off with the setup for long-term contributors, how to like find out what's in the project, who can help with what, then maybe that's gonna make things easier. Okay, anything else from anyone, maybe to this topic or something else?
Yeah, there's also more ways to contribute. You know, we're focused on code because that's what we do, but there's more ways to contribute to a project than code. In terms of hosting it right now, virtual meetups, but we used to really encourage people to host meetups, give them, you know, swag packages with stickers and stuff to hand out, and then also reward people for, you know, doing documentation and even just general marketing.
Yeah. So like from my point of view, I always say that of course code is not the only way to contribute. Like Emmeline that I mentioned before, she doesn't code, but she's one of the greatest contributors of AsyncAPI because she's writing blog posts about the initiative. She like I said, she helped us with the Women Who Code to approach them. So she's super active and promoting the initiative. So it's definitely a contribution that I value. But it's just I think that like in the engineering space, we simply should also make it much easier to jump in and contribute. Not only docs. So not all those issues will be, of course, related to pure coding. Some of them will be CI related, some docs. But what you said about the meetups, I think that's also something that we long-term should have a look at. I think some time ago we talked about having a official slide deck, for example, about AsyncAPI to make it easier for people to go to meetups and talk about the spec and the tooling. So yeah, that's good point. It's good that you brought it up.
There's a slide deck, but it's not really super visible. But it's on on our Google Drive. Yeah, so it's a Google presentation or Google Slides presentation. So, and it has a lot of slides, already prepared slides in case you want to do a presentation about this in KPI. But yeah, we need to make it more prominent and visible. Maybe to have on the website, in the new website that we're working on, maybe we should have something like a resource center or something like this, where people can download the logos, download presentations, and, you know, all these things that usually they ask for, or they end up taking from the website or from other places, or asking us privately. These things can be offered in the website maybe. And also, yeah, this will be more prominent for sure. And that's just like the first step to try to make it easier to create, like Collin said, to create like virtual meetups. And once COVID is gone, or it's not a problem anymore, maybe live or physical meetups will be great as well. But yeah, this is something we should be doing.
Agree. Any other comments? We done for today?
I think so.
Okay, so thanks a lot for joining, guys. And
Thanks, everyone. Have
Yeah,
a
thank you.
good
that's
one.
it. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for for speaking today, for showing us all the great work, man. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Cheers,
Bye.
guys. Bye.
Bye.